Coach, thanks for joining us. Before we get to questions, we're ready for your opening comments.
Yeah, congratulations to UCLA. They played great today. A really good team. Mick does an unbelievable job with those guys. They had a great season. They caused us all kind of problems, and played terrific and got the win. Super proud of my guys. They're really special young men, a really special locker room.
Our first question comes from Jake Hatch. Jake, your line is open.
Mark, wanted to ask you just about the shooting, 3 of 17 from beyond the arc. Do you feel like you guys got good looks and just didn't make them? What'd you make of the shooting?
Yeah, clearly we didn't shoot the ball well from the three-point line or the free throw line. Credit UCLA for that, putting pressure on us, and they had us on our heels. For some substantial part of the first half, and it happens sometimes. We've been able to overcome nights like that before this season. We just couldn't overcome it tonight, and so we'll get better. But it was there's going to be nights on occasion where you don't shoot the ball well, and we have answers. We can still win games. We just didn't get it done tonight.
As a reminder to our attendees, please use the raise hand function. Our next question comes from Mitch Harper. Mitch, your line is open.
Yeah, Mark, how big of a setback was it for your team to cut the deficit to 4 and then at the next stoppage find UCLA back up double digits?
Yeah, I was really proud of my guys in the second half. They kept fighting and kept trying to chip away, and that's this locker room. It's what they've been all year. And in some crucial moments, we just couldn't come up with stops. Johnny was a handful tonight, and we didn't have answers for him. And there's UCLA can be so meticulous with and demonstrative with their pace of play, and so it makes it hard to claw back in. And it's the game. It's March. It happens, and like I said, credit UCLA. They played great, and we just couldn't quite get over the hump.
Our next question comes from Norma Gonzalez. Norma, your line is now open.
Hey, Coach, what is something that you can take away from this game that will help you start moving on to next season?
Well, the game teaches you all the time how you need to get better, and so there's a number of things that we can take from this game to get better. I'm not really there right now. I think it's a hard locker room right now. We're so grateful for the opportunity that we have to be here this tournament, and I'm personally so humbled and grateful that I get to be in that locker room with those guys. They're extraordinary young men, and down the line they all sacrificed so much for each other, and they fought really hard to try and learn how to love each other, so I don't know. I mean, we'll piece away the basketball stuff. It's just hard. It's hard to do that right now with what I got in that locker room right now. A bunch of dudes that are brokenhearted, and I think as much as anything, just devastated that they don't get to play together again. When you forge a bond that these guys work so hard, it doesn't come by accident. When you work as hard as these guys do to forge the bond that they have with one another, it's devastating to know that you're not going to be in a locker room together again in the same form. And so I'm not sure about the basketball stuff. You know, we got to deal with our guys first.
Our next question comes from Jeff Call. Jeff, your line is open.
Mark, could you kind of assess the performance of your seniors, not just tonight, but just what they meant to this team this season?
Yeah. I mean, again, what a gift, you know, you for anybody that's managing or leading or coaching any organization, to have three extraordinary young men like Matt Harms and Brandon Averett and Alex Barcelo, you know, leading, you know, what they did on the court is incredibly impressive. What they accomplished this year is incredibly impressive. Their numbers are all super impressive, but what they did in terms of bonding and binding hearts and minds together in a locker room and finding a way to come every day and work hard and finding a way to build a team that's better than anybody thought that they were going to be. They're great human beings, and they're going to do great things in their lives. And it's super humbling to be able to witness that. So I'm so grateful for those guys. I don't know if we're going to have three dudes walk through our doors that are quite like these guys, but they're special human beings.
I believe we have a follow-up question from Mitch Harper. Mitch, your line is open.
Mark, we saw it be pretty emotional coming off the floor. You've noted it as well, but what was your message to the team in the post-game locker room moments after the final horn?
There's no message, guys. There's no message to make it better. Or at least I don't have it. You know, sometimes you come to the end of a season and you have guys that are exhausted and frustrated and fatigued and ready for it to be over, and that's not our locker room, so that makes it doubly hard. There's no words that I can say that are going to make that better. I just told the guys how much I love them and how grateful I am for them to allow me the privilege of pushing them as hard as we push them and ask them for as much as we ask them for. And so it's, you know, there's I don't have any better words of wisdom than that. We'll unpack everything. These guys, they live to respond to adversity. They're experts at getting back up off the mat and moving on and making great things happen. And I know that this locker room will do that, and I know these young men individually do that. But there's going to be some mourning and some grieving that goes on, and we'll do that together just like we competed and won games together this year.
Coach, our last question is a follow-up from Jake Hatch. Jake, your line is open.
Yeah, Mark, kind of building off that question just barely, though, but as you consider the totality of this season, what you guys have gone through all year long, do you just have any overall thoughts on what they endured just to get to this point?
I don't, yeah, you know, I don't know how much we talk. We probably talk about this all the time, guys, but these guys accomplished extraordinary things. I mean, they're a top 25 team. They're, you know, metrically astounding. They probably made the biggest jump from their ranking in preseason to the end of the season, as big a jump as any team in the country. You know, they've, you know, won huge game after huge game after huge game. They came every single night and every single day in practice ready to go. You know, they took a eclectic collection of guys from all over with all different backgrounds that hadn't played together, and they forged a really special team. And you know, so many accomplishments. But again, you know, that's all the stuff that's good for you guys and good for me. what these guys did that's so spectacular that nobody's going to understand. I mean, I'll keep saying it, but nobody's going to understand is these guys formed a relationship the likes of which you rarely have in your life, and with each other, and that, like I said it over and over, that doesn't just happen. That comes because guys work at it and sacrifice for it. And so I care about wins and losses, and I care about numbers, and I care about all those things, and all those things are super important. And this team accomplished incredible things. Again, they're walking out of this season with a pocket full of records and incredible accomplishments and huge contributions to BYU basketball, to the history of BYU basketball. Some great things, but at the end of the day, all that stuff is fine. But they got something that's way deeper and way more important than any of those things. They got each other, and if you don't understand what I mean, I understand. I get it, but it just is, so I don't know if that answers your question.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be joined momentarily by Matt Harms. Again, to ask a question of Matt, you want to use the raise hand feature on your screen. Matt, thanks for joining us. As questions come in, do you want to give us some thoughts on the game tonight?
Disappointed, obviously. This is it for me. So it's tough to go out like that. Credit to them; they have a great team. They outplayed us. They deserve to win this game. It's just tough. It's a lot of feelings going through my mind right now. That was my college career. Just grateful for the opportunity I got here at BYU. Grateful for the season we've had, but it just really sucks the feeling I have right now, just going out like that in the first round.
Our first question is from Jake Hatch. Jake, your line is unmuted.
Yeah, Matt. Do you feel like there was a point in this game where it tipped and where you guys you felt like you lost the game, I guess is what I'm trying to ask?
First half was a struggle for us just because of Zhang, the way he was playing. We were just not able to execute our game plan on him. He was coming off clean and getting great shots and even tough ones. At that point, he's hitting tough ones. And in the second half, we were able to claw back to 5, and then they brought it back to 11, where they kept it basically the entire game. So I don't think there was one particular point where we lost the game. If you look back, maybe you could say, in the first half, letting Zhang get going, but I think we did a better job on him in the second half. We just couldn't claw back. We just weren't able to claw back against them when it mattered.
As a reminder, we're using the raise hand function on your screen. The next question comes from Mitch Harper. Mitch, your line is.
Was there ever a moment in the game where you guys felt like the momentum was going on your side and you were getting close to making that run, get back in it?
Yeah, I'd say early in the second half, we really thought we had an opportunity there. We cut it down to, I think, 5. At that point, I think they take a timeout. We just had to keep that momentum going, and we weren't able to. We weren't able to tie the game up there, or bring it around in our favor. So it sucks that we weren't able to do that. But at that point, I feel like that's the closest we got early in the second half.
Matt, that's all the questions we have in the queue. Thanks so much for joining us being here.
Thank you.